Welcome to Esther's Laguna Woods Show, where every guest matters. Today we have a very special guest. She's a therapist, and her name is Dr. Diana Bolen. And today we're going to talk about the coronavirus, COVID-19. Hi.
Hi, how are you, Esther?
Good. How are you?
I'm good. I'm excited to be here. And I just want to say I'm not going to be an expert on the coronavirus, but how we are going to deal with being at home and the kinds of things we go through because of the coronavirus.
It's so nice to have you in my first Zoom interview.
Yeah, this is our first for both of us.
Yes. Okay, so let's start. Besides the fear that people have of contracting the virus, are they going to have other fears too?
Oh, yes. Yes. First of all, I just took a look at a study that was done recently from the Office of National Statistics, and 46.9% of people are anxious right now. Now, the main reasons for the anxiety and worries are loneliness, not worried about getting enough medical supplies or food or toilet paper, also the inability to make plans like you used to, whether you're planning to go on a trip in the spring or whatever, and missing important events. Not only, as we've seen on the news, when people are sick and dying and missing being at your loved one's side, but also weddings have been canceled or have had to be done on Zoom. So those are a lot of things that are happening right now. And then there's the huge one of money. Now, many of us in Laguna Woods are blessed to be retired, but there are many, many people right now, particularly wait people and entertainers who are particularly hard hit by this event. Now, on top of that, you have people who are even more prone to stress, like people who have PTSD. And with the news going at you every day and seeing how bad things are around the world, it's hard not to get upset.
Yeah, it's terrible what's going on.
Yeah.
So what are the most important skills that people should develop during the stay at home period?
Yes. Well, there are, one of the things that we are blessed with as humans is a brain that is able to think and plan and evaluate. And that is a huge organ that we need to use more than ever. So first of all, we need to take in new information. We get a lot of information from a lot of sources. Not all that information is reliable. And so it is important to rely on information from scientific sources. That's first of all. But even then, you should evaluate the information, take it in and think about it if it makes sense to you. Okay. Then the other skill is to manage your fears and emotions. Check in with yourself, because scientists know that when you're frightened, your sense of your ability to perceive things shrinks. It's actually very adaptive, because if a bear is running after you or a coyote, you want to your ability to survive kind of hones in on that coyote. But in this situation, you have to expand your awareness and be aware that maybe your fear is not helping you right now. That instead you need to take a few deep breaths and again, take time to evaluate what you're hearing. Another skill is making needed changes. Okay, it's not as easy as it was before to go to the grocery store, and sometimes the shelves are empty. So you need to ask yourself, do you really need that item? or can you make do? I remember, Esther, you told me how you were making do with some things at home that you didn't have.
Yeah, like the napkin, I cut it to 2 halves now.
Yeah, that's right. Thank goodness we didn't have to do that with toilet paper. And another skill is, what are your priorities? You know, this is a time to get back to basics. And, you know, maybe getting a manicure and a pedicure is no longer a priority. And I think, you know, most of us now are our hair needs to be cut. So there's a lot of things that we just
go now. But I don't think that they're open, the manicures. You have to do
No, I don't think so either. And so, I mean, you know, if that ruins your day, you need to change your priorities. Okay? That's my point.
Okay, so how does stay at home create a challenge for relationships?
Oh, let's see here. Well, relationship challenges. I look at relationships kind of as 3 types right now during this coronavirus. One is your brief relationships. So the brief relationships are the person who delivers your food. When you check out at the grocery, that person, the mail carrier. These are your brief relationships, and those are very important for you to practice a lot of gratitude and express your gratitude to those people, doctors, nurses, who are on the front line. And maybe you could do a little something, you know, whether it's to send money for PPEs or something. Then there's what I call your technological relationships. Like right now, you and I have a technological relationship on Zoom. And many people, just the only way they have a chance to be with friends is by being on some kind of media like this or through Facebook. And then you've got I call them in your face relationships, if you happen to be living with somebody. And there, it's important to carve out some amount of time for yourself, okay? So, and it doesn't have to be like getting in an argument and stomping off and slamming the door. It can simply be letting people know that a certain time every day, you're gonna sit quietly with your tea or with a book or whatever to take time for yourself. Now, in all of these relationships, another challenge is to learn how to be more creative, okay? I'm very lucky to know of people who have posted online of creative ways to be at home. And one of them is to have like a cocktail party on Zoom.
Yes.
So these are just, you know, some of the things. Another one that I saw that I thought it was funny was a lady had taken a lot of helium balloons and tied them to her 5-pound dog, and the dog floated up in the air. This is something we wouldn't have time to do in ordinary circumstances, but it was worth a giggle.
And there's so many people now that are doing videos, and people are enjoying the other people's videos. It's nice.
Yes, it is. It's very nice. And even playing games. You know, I know other people who dress up once a week for dinner. And so sometimes the theme is gangsters, sometimes the theme is cowboys. It's just a way to break up the monotony. And you can even, I know that people like to dress up as animals too, so you can do that.
Okay, how can people stay optimistic at this period in our life?
Well, that's, you know, I think before I talk about that, I'd like to talk about how do people deal with staying at home.
Okay.
Is that okay?
Yes, yes.
Okay, because I think that, you know, in order to stay optimistic, you have to also be able to be with yourself and with all that free time that you have. And we are, as a culture, oriented toward being very productive. And suddenly, any productivity is pretty much confined to our own homes. So one of the key things, and this is known as the serenity prayer, is control what you can and let go of what you can't. Okay, that is so important for being able to be at home. So if the cable goes out, you cannot control that. So you have to let go of that. The other things that are important is to establish a routine. Now, sometimes you don't really, our old routine kind of got yanked out from under us. And now you have to reinvent a new routine with a sense that it's only going to last, hopefully, for a month more or not. But how do you do that? How do you establish a new routine? Well, one of the ways is to get
motivation. What's the motivation? I mean, how can you motivate yourself?
Yes, how can you motivate yourself? I think it's like that old saying, just do it. So
Yes,
you
yes.
find one thing that you can make yourself do, and you do it every day. Okay, and it could be meditation, it could be prayer, it could be sit-ups or push-ups or writing. It doesn't really matter, but the concept is, it's called deliberate practice of things, so it is good for your brain, and it is good for your sense of self when you're able to execute something on a regular basis. And having this anchor activity kind of starts your day off. People can look back to when they had to go off to work. Usually they had a routine in the morning, and it might have included coffee and a shower. And so that was a way to anchor the whole day. And we need to find things like that. And just for the record, other things, there's a tremendous opportunity now to learn something new.
Like a language. Like
what?
a new language, like a new language.
Yes, like a new language, like to take a course. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, people should take the opportunity to do whatever they always wanted to do.
Yes.
Right now they can do it.
Yes, absolutely. They should take those opportunities, but in order to figure it out, you need to spend some time and go back to your dreams. Or all of us have said, when I have enough time, I'm going to do X. Well, you've got time now. Yes. People are cooking more, they're writing more, but you do have to sit down. And that also brings me to another thing that's very, very important, which is don't go to excess, no matter what it is. Sleeping, watching TV, alcohol, other substances, do not go to excess. And if you have to, keep a record. Measure the amount of wine you use. I'm not saying don't use wine. I'm just saying be mindful, because if you go to excess, you will not have the wherewithal to deliberately do things that are good for you.
I know some people started to walk. I think that's great. But sometimes they do it too much too.
Well, yeah, and that's
walk and walk and walk.
And that's what I was talking about as far as taking in new information. It's a great idea to walk, but if your body is saying too much, then you don't.
Then it's not good.
Yeah, then you have to change it up.
Go down a little bit, if they do too much exercise or whatever. I mean, I don't know, but maybe they can, the immune system can go down a little bit if they overdo things.
Yes, yes.
I want to ask you, how is the dating scene going to be now?
Well, dating has been moving online for quite some time. Okay, and actually it's gone from dating sites where you fill out a profile and you send emails back and forth, to even more rapid types of dating where you're just swiping left or right, whether you like the person or not. Well, obviously you can't meet the person right now.
Yes.
You know, you cannot meet them. That's going to have to wait.
So they're going to have time to get to know each other just through talking.
Yes, absolutely. That is a good way. And it doesn't, you know, again, I think we need to, again, reevaluate some of the things that we were doing before, because it—
Like what? I mean, some of the things
like fast. I mean, whether it's, you know, meet somebody online and immediately go meet them, it's like, maybe that's not the best way to do things. Maybe it is better to take time to get to know them. That's just one example. The other is more people are cooking now, which takes a lot more time than, than just ordering in. And that's actually a good thing, because you're likely to eat healthier and you know what's in your food and you can choose the good things for you. So.
Yeah, there's nothing like cooking. It's like so fresh and everything when you cook yourself.
Yes, yes, exactly. And you can have it pretty much just like you like it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I promised I would get back to how to stay optimistic.
Yes.
Yes. Okay. So first of all, we're all different. Our personalities are all different. Some of us are optimists, some of us are pessimists, and that's just how we were created. So even if that's the case, you can work on being more positive. One of the best ways to be more positive is to do what's called a gratitude journal, okay? Or just at night, name 3 things that you're grateful for. And it can be, I'm grateful for the fact that I have electricity. I'm grateful for the fact that I have a toilet. I mean, it can be simple things like that, or it can be very remarkable things, like I'm grateful for all the scientists who are working for a cure for COVID-19.
Yes.
So if you every day do that, 3 things, it's going to change what you noticed in your world, okay? Because you'll be looking, you know, the assignment is to come up with 3 things every day. And so that'll change your focus. All right. So that's one of the big things. The other thing
and being healthy, that's another, you know.
Yes. Being healthy is one thing to be very grateful for. And we all are knowing of people who are not so healthy right now because of the COVID virus.
Yes, I know.
Another thing is to put somebody else first. And that seems kind of paradoxical, but it is a very good way to remain optimistic, because putting somebody else first kind of shows you that you don't need you to be first all the time, and it shifts again your perspective. And it could be just some little act of kindness, again, thanking the postal worker. It doesn't have to be anything big. Additionally, if you look at the 2 words, crisis and opportunity,
yes,
they both mean sifting through, finding out what's really important. So another thing about this time is being able to sift through our lives and our preferences to decide what's really important and what's not. And then when we get to the specifics of things, you know, you can be, some things that I'm grateful for are, I am grateful for the medical science that we have in our world today. It's just incredible. I'm grateful for the communications science that we have today, because without the communication, we wouldn't be able to tell each other how much in danger we are and to shelter in place. I'm also very grateful that right now the environment is kind of getting a break. There are fewer cars on the road. There's less noise. It's just, there's less pollution. I also think that this is a time for what I call a cultural reset, okay? So that, because I think whenever you're doing things habitually, you stop evaluating whether they really serve you, your family, or the larger good. And so this is also a very important time to look at those things, and that makes me optimistic.
Wow.
Yeah.
There's so many good ideas.
Yeah.
What about the habits? I mean, people should, I don't know exactly what I was going with it, but people can start new habits. I don't know. I mean, it takes like, I read somewhere, it takes like 18 days to 2 months to start to develop a new habits.
Yes.
Habit.
Yeah, and well, again, that concept of deliberate practice, whether you're trying to be a top-notch tennis player, or whether you're just trying to lose 10 pounds, the deliberate part, you have to be deliberate. It's not going to happen by accident. So establishing a habit needs to be something that you think about. I don't mean obsess about, but think about it on a regular basis. And research has shown that writing down your goals and also writing down your accomplishments, and you know, people, by the way, there's a study that shows that people who track their food intake lose weight. So it's just that simple. Yeah. So
isn't it something?
Yeah, it's just that it's hard for people to keep that up. You know, they usually give it up after 2 weeks, but
but they lost some weight in the meantime.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Okay, so what are the changes that is going to come out of staying at home? I mean, what people are going to change certain things. I mean, what are the possible changes that people are going to change? You know, I mean,
go ahead.
Yeah.
So, you know, obviously, there's all kinds of people out there with all kinds of needs, and it's possible that some people will actually become very isolated. And that's the dark side. We need to reach out to someone you think might be becoming isolated, and reach out to those people, because there can be a lot of despair.
Yes.
And it's a terrible, terrible thing. And despair leads to alienation, and that can lead to acts of violence, you know, against oneself or against others. So it's very important. On the bright side, I think that we will become and are becoming like the hashtag together. We are in this together. Yeah. Everyone in the world is in this with us.
Everyone in the world is at home right now.
Yeah, that's right.
They're all working, doesn't matter who you are.
Yes.
All at home right now.
Yeah. So, you know, that's something that's hopefully will come out of it that we won't forget. You know, and then the other thing that I imagine will come out of it is, again, this kind of reevaluating. I have a saying now that I use frequently, which is, I have everything I need. Now, obviously, I'm not homeless. I am privileged to have a house and food in my refrigerator. But, you know, there was a time when I'd be online ordering this and ordering that, and it's like, I don't need it. Yes. You know, so it's,
you're learning how to go by without certain things. You know?
Yes.
You don't need that much.
And you learn that those certain things are just not necessary.
Yeah.
So that, yeah, and I think there'll be changes in our economy, but that's out of my range of expertise.
Yeah. Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
some of the things, yeah, yeah, it's going to be some changes.
Mhm.
Okay, so anything else you want to add?
No, well, I mean, I'll sum up kind of things that I've
Okay,
said,
okay.
which is, you know, this is a crisis and it's an opportunity.
Yes,
And
yes,
the
yes.
most important opportunity is to learn more about yourself at this time. Because if you can learn about yourself, then you will better be able to lead your life from this day forward. And learning about yourself is not something that happens accidentally. It happens by journaling, sitting quietly, prayer, whatever your way of quieting your mind down.
Oh, that's
And
a good
that, yeah.
idea. That's a good idea to do a journal, to just write
Yes.
down.
Mm-hmm.
Good idea.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's great.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
All
it
righty.
was so
Well,
nice having you here.
yes, it was very fun, very fun. And thanks for our technical support. Preston in the back. I'm practicing what I preach. Thank you, Preston, for making this happen.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you for watching, and next time we'll have another interesting guest. Thank you.